Welcome to this Discover series of the 2024 Melbourne Winter Masterpieces exhibition, Pharaoh, presented by HSBC. This is the largest exhibition of ancient Egyptian objects ever seen in Australia. It's also the largest loan exhibition that the British Museum has ever presented internationally, which is an incredible coup for the NGV. I think what the exhibition structure allows is we can see the fact that there is this king of Egypt, the pharaoh, who oversees all aspects of Egyptian society and politics. It gives you a wonderful overview of the elite culture of Egypt. We know a lot about the pharaoh because the monuments to the pharaoh are the most lasting. They're the things that have survived. But we can also find other evidence of the other people around him, and also, of course, the artists and the craftspeople who made the objects that celebrate the pharaoh.
When I started thinking about the exhibition, about the themes and the narrative, I started thinking about the different sections. I didn't want to have something chronological, but really thematic. And based on that, I started exploring the collection, the storerooms, opening drawers. And I have to say that's one of my favorite parts of the exhibition, because you also see things that you haven't really seen that much yourself before. And what I wanted is to create a kind of mix of objects, iconic objects, monumental pieces, but also small, intimate, personal pieces. You really have a wide range of type of objects, telling a lot of different types of stories. There is more than 500 objects in this exhibition, which is more than any loans that the British Museum ever organized before, so obviously that takes a lot of time, but it also takes a lot of people. At the British Museum, there were a lot of different colleagues involved.
We've been working really in detailed planning of the logistics for about 2 years, since about 2022, and the logistics of getting things onto display. We actually started the packing of these objects in June 2023, so about 11 months before we're here. For the last few months, we've had lots and lots of conversations looking at the schedule about the installation. And on the ground, we've been here for 4 weeks. The team from the British Museum have been working with the team in the NGV, which is a very long time, but it just mirrors the fact this is the biggest exhibition we've done. One of the most rewarding things is actually seeing some of the really large statues travel. Those do present bigger challenges. But I've been working at the museum for close to 28 years, and this is by far the largest single exhibition that we've toured. So that gave us a lot of challenges to start with. But the diverse range of objects we have on this, we have the very large sculptures, we have lots of very fine jewellery and some very, very fragile pieces. And it's hugely satisfying to get this exhibition here safely.
It's hard to perhaps remember when we're sitting in the most beautifully finished exhibition, the years, in fact, of preparation that have gone into this exhibition. Over the last 3 or 4 years, we've been working constantly with our colleagues in London, going through this very big checklist of over 500 pieces, and object by object, understanding the complexities of the conditioning, the conservation work that might be required, the packing of these objects so that we can install the exhibition in an efficient manner in the period that we have, because it's a huge undertaking to bring these objects from London to Melbourne.
The overall hours of conservation that have gone into this exhibition are around 3,000, and that is across all material types, so stone, ceramics, glass, metals, organics, papyrus. So it's a very huge undertaking of conservation. We've really had a chance to really pick some wonderful objects in our collection that haven't really been able to be displayed in the past. Amongst those are things like the Sekhmets. At least 2 of those have been in the store for 30 plus years. Having so many hours of conservation to carry out and such a long time to work with the objects has been the discovery of pigments. There's a sculpture of Amenhotep. We have, he's almost 3 meters 10 on his module, so he's a very large sculpture. We've discovered new pigments on the back of him that weren't always accessible in the past, so that's been really amazing. I think it's hugely exciting to be able to work on objects that have previously been in store and then spend the time really taking time to work on them, research them, analyse them, and then see them come 10,000 miles across the world and be displayed in a really different interpretation to what I'm used to seeing in the museum.
I think what this exhibition does really well, it allows the visitor to go under the veneer of the formality of ancient Egyptian art. And here, using a broad range of objects, we try and go underneath that facade of formality and allow the public to get closer to what being a ruler in ancient Egypt was really about. I think it's really exciting to see this wonderful combination of 8 years of work. The NGV vision and interpretation of our objects differs from what we would do at the British Museum, but that's also a great opportunity to see a different way of communicating the magnificence of ancient Egypt to the public.
When I first started working on this exhibition, the design brief was quite clear at the beginning that we were going to design an exhibition that didn't look like any of the other exhibitions out there that were presenting ancient Egyptian material. We wanted to tell the story that the British Museum had conceived for the exhibition Pharaoh. It spans 5,000 years from our time when we're looking back, a 3,000-year period, and so this idea of time was something we really wanted to capture in the exhibition design. The way we've tried to do that is this expression of the passage of time over a day. So we start in the morning and we end at night, and the journey of the exhibition that visitors take travels across that day. So in the morning, the sun is low in the sky, it's rising, it's really warm in colour and it casts shadows. But as it rises, it becomes kind of cooler in the colour temperature, and so by the middle of the exhibition, it sits really high up in the sky before it sort of descends again to nighttime. So it's really that idea of expression of light, and that fits really well with the subject material. The Egyptians built so much of their architecture, their religion, all around the passage of light. So it sort of felt like a really connected concept. We often think about exhibitions in galleries often being paintings on a wall. There's 500 objects and pretty much most of it is sculptural, so we see it in the round. So thinking through how objects are placed in space, how visitors can kind of see them from multiple vantages, that's the challenge, but it's the fun part of designing an exhibition like this. So when we're designing an exhibition, thinking around the emotional experience of a visitor is really key, and so designing for emotions is part of what we're doing. We're trying to articulate ideas of power and I guess the privilege of the pharaoh, and what we want to evoke in the visitor is this sense of awe and wonder, but also thinking that idea that these are humans living at a different point in time but still human, and so that emotional connectedness between us as a visitor and seeing what the lives were of the people that were pharaohs, but even the people that helped create the worlds that pharaohs lived in. So I think for me, that emotional pathos is really key to bring to life. One of the ways we do that is through the design of the space, but also the design of the music. So a collaborator, Peter Corrigan, who conceived the soundtrack for this space, has created something that responds to the environmental design, but creates this emotional experience through the music, which is really powerful.
I have to say that the first time I came in, it was almost like a shock, because you see designs and you have a sense of how it's going to look like, but it's very different to see the final results. When I came in the first time and going through all the different sections, discovering, but also following the light from dawn to dusk, because I think it's something that works really nicely and it creates a beautiful story throughout the exhibition. And for me, I have to say it was very emotional, and I hope that all the visitors welcome in that journey.
To come to the NGV and to be immersed in the objects here, to be able to see them in person, to see the hieroglyphs carved into the stone surfaces, to see the exquisite jewellery that has the little figures of Egyptian gods, I think for all of our audiences it'll be an interest come to life, if you like, in the exhibition, and I really hope that it inspires generations to come. I hope for many of our audiences it will be something that they will keep with them as a memory and as an interest for the rest of their lives. We thank HSBC, our premium partner, for helping us to bring world-class art from leading international institutions like the British Museum exclusively to Melbourne. We're so looking forward to welcoming visitors to this incredible exhibition, on now until 6 October.